Today we look at developments in the Soviet Union during the height of the Cold War. Before jumping into the lecture guide, let's review quickly the ideas of Stalinism and his 5 key points. 1 being collective agriculture and putting farms into big groups. 2, the cult of personality that elevated him to an almost godlike status. 3, the idea of emphasizing industrial goods over consumer goods. 4th, to emphasize communism only and no other economic aspects. And 5th, to purge those with whom he disagreed. After his death in 1953, the next leader in was then Nikita Khrushchev in 1954. He backed off a lot of Stalin's policies. There was a bit of a thaw in censorship of writing and politics and so forth. And he tried to emphasize more consumer goods. He encouraged the development of new farmlands to try and feed his people, but it didn't really work too well. In a 1956 speech that was really supposed to go only to party leaders, it was supposed to be a secret speech. He really ripped Stalin to shreds, denounced all of his policies and so forth. But the speech was leaked out to the public, and it was a bit of an embarrassment, really, for Khrushchev and the Soviets to admit that Stalin had been so wrong. One of the big crises that came around was one over the Suez Canal, connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. Egyptian leader Abd al-Nasser, nationalized it or took it over in 1956. And then Israel, Britain, and France were ready to go to war to keep it open. Russia came running in. They were going to try and keep those European countries out. President Eisenhower came in and kept the whole thing from blowing up in a war. All right, getting Egypt, you can own it. Just let's keep everybody calm. The Soviets did a lot of dealing, though, with uprisings in what we call satellite countries. There's some of these Eastern European countries where they had pushed communism after World War II. In Poland, for example, there were riots. There were people hoping to get a larger role for the Catholic Church. The Polish president, Gomulka at the time, really backed off Stalin's policies, but did agree to stay in the military Warsaw Pact. Hungary, not so much. Hungarian invasion was one where they were seeking more autonomy, more independence from the Soviets. Their leader, Imre Nagy, wanted out of the Warsaw Pact, wanted to have honest elections, but there was an absolute butchering by the Soviets in the capital of Budapest. They rolled in with tanks in 1956, slaughtering thousands, executing Nagy in the process. Then there was a brief period of what we would call détente in the Cold War, meaning a calm, an easing of nerves from 55 to 59. By 1959, however, things were getting bad again. When Khrushchev encountered American Vice President Richard Nixon in what became known as the kitchen debate, the two were dealing at a trade fair. And Nixon was showing off all of the great wares that Americans now had the ability to purchase.